Noble. It's the name of my guest, but it could also describe him, because I think that he has a nobility about him when he's when he's on the stage. He comes under that heading of another one of the guests that I've never really properly talked to, and he's got a lot to say. Ladies and gentlemen, simply one of the funniest, most innovative, and most daring comedians, Ross Noble. There he is. Look at him. Look at him.
Hello, hello.
Can you hear me, Ross? Because we have a problem.
Oh,
I can't
God.
hear you. You're frozen. And
Oh, fucking hell. Yes, I can hear you.
I wonder if this will make the edit.
Oh, hang on. Hang on. Can you hear me now on the Wi-Fi?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm going to need a sedative after this.
Hello? Can you hear me? Fucking hell.
While we wait for Ross, look at the state of my slipper. Look at that. How has that happened? Is that moths or something? Here we go with Ross Noble Mark II, and already it's looking better.
Right. Am I there?
You're there, Ross. You're so there. For our own peace of mind, let's both of us not move about a bit so we know we haven't frozen, okay?
Yeah. Right, so you can definitely hear me.
Yeah, because
Right,
once you move
okay.
around,
Right,
I can tell that the line is good, you know. The whole interview could be us, I don't know, maybe
Just swaying.
dancing or just
Just
swaying back and forth. So many things to talk about. Am I right in saying that we've never really had a big, long conversation? Please tell me that I am, or am I forgetting something, Ross?
No, we haven't had a long, but we Edinburgh, wasn't it? We used to share a dressing room, so
Yes,
we used to have a kind of a short chat in between. You were finishing your show, and then I was coming in to do mine. Do you remember Bradley Walsh was playing? He was playing a small room next door to us. We were in the big auditorium.
Yeah.
It was hilarious because he was sort of he was doing this tiny little room, and he was a bit like, the Edinburgh Festival gonna like me, you know, a little bit mainstream and all the rest of it. And I used to walk through the back, and I would hear you in one room there, and then I'd have one ear on Bradley, and he'd always be storming it, and I'd walk past and I'd be like, and then and we'd come in, we'd have a little chat. But
can I hang on a second now? Wait a minute. So Brad, you'd have one ear on me, one ear on Brad. Brad would always be storming it. You kind of left that hanging.
Oh no! Well, I just obviously you were storming it. I'm just saying that, Bradley had come from a mainstream comedy thing and was nervous about playing to the alternative crowd, what he perceived as alternative.
I'd hear Bradley storming it, and then I'd hear your voice, Rob, and I'd think, oh, he's still doing his sound check. And then I'd go in and I'd see the audience were there, just sat like this. You're on tour now, as am I. Where do we find you?
I am Nottingham.
Oh, yes.
I did a gig last night over at the concert hall, and then I'm just hanging around here.
How do you find the solitary life of the stand-up comedian?
I normally, I just take people with me, don't I? I did a tour, was it the last UK tour? Took a mate of mine with me, and we had a van which had push bikes in it and 2 motorbikes, and then we would go like trials bikes, like Kickstart, where you'd ride over all this. So we would, his job was to sort of find us places to ride. We would just go and ride in the daytime, and then sometimes I'd go on stage with mud on my face, One day we were in the Brecon Beacons on the top of a mountain, riding around, and he gets a phone call saying from the tour manager as he's setting up the gig, and he goes, you going to be here for sound check? And we're looking at our watches like, we've got to be at the theatre in 45 minutes. So
where were you playing? Was that one in Brecon, or was it somewhere else?
No, Swansea. Yeah, down in
Swansea.
Yeah. So it was fine. We made it, So I do that. I just sort of take people with me, because I got into doing the musicals, It's one of the things that I love about that, I did a tour around Britain. I was in the Producers, the first one I did, and you've got not only obviously you're not paying for it, so you've got like a full, but there's 10 people in the band, and then you've got all the ensemble, and so there's like 40 of you, and you're all touring around. Obviously with stand-up, you get all the money, which, and then, but, if you do that, you get, it's like a big, it's just like it's like going on camp or something, So
it's such a different experience. But this guy that travels around with you, is this a friend? And do you pay him, or does he have you pay him? So this is kind of Elvis territory. This is sort of Memphis Mafia territory of guys. Does he laugh too loud at your jokes?
Yeah, well, it's hard when you're on a motorbike because you can't hear because you've got a helmet on.
Yeah, okay, but I'm imagining that you allow him to hang with you not just once you're on the bike. I mean, he's allowed to speak at other times.
Look, I'm not going to use the word entourage, but I think you know what it's like. You come off stage and everyone's cheering you. I think you need to surround yourself with people who basically don't find that impressive. You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of, I think that's what you need. That's why I've been married to my wife for so long. She holds absolutely no truck with any form of aggrandized behaviour.
How does she find it when people come up to you in the street or after a show and are just reacting to you like you are God's gift to comedy? And how does that go down with her?
Yeah, you've seen my act. It doesn't happen often. No, you know what she does? Is when people come up and talk to me in the street, I'm one of those people that, like, if people want a photo or whatever, they want to chat, I will literally, like, I'm not like, not today. I just think, they're paying the bills, whatever. But my wife is quite, not that it annoys her. It doesn't at all. It's fine. She knows that's the thing. But she just walks off. So, like, if you talk to somebody and there's somebody with you and they think, oh, well, I'm taking up your time, and they'll move on. Like, that's why it's quite good to be stood with somebody. But no, she just literally, if we're out and about and somebody stops, I'll go, blah, we'll have a bit of chat, and I'll go, anyway, and I look around and she's completely gone. And then I have to ring her on the phone, and I'll go, where are you? And she'll go, oh, I'm in such and such a shop. And I'll go, that's like 2 streets away. You've literally gone to the other side of the city. And she's like, yeah, well, I've got stuff to do. But that's good, keeps you moving, doesn't it? Keeps you moving.
So you're on tour now. Tell me now,
Yes.
then, your what's going to happen today? Give us an insight. You've got it. What time did you go to sleep after the show last night?
About 4, half 3, 4, something like that.
You are not serious.
Yeah.
Why? What were you doing?
I was watching telly. I was playing the guitar. I was came back fiddling about. Look, I've got a little miniature guitar over there. I was fiddling about with that for a bit, and then I'd done a bit of staring. I like having a bit of a. I like to have a bit of a think.
You go to sleep about 4. What time did you wake up?
9:30, 9:45, something like that.
It's not enough, Ross. How much sleep do you need?
6 hours, about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Is that okay?
Well, I mean, I'm here only in an advisory capacity with your best interests at heart.
You seem utterly appalled by that.
Well, it's unimaginable to me.
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't got, I'm away. I haven't got the kids with me. This is really all I've done for 30 years, So,
yeah, I think that's a big part of it, isn't it? That you are so up to speed with this sort of lifestyle. Your body obviously has become very, very used to it.
Yes. Yeah. Damaged is the word.
Well, I didn't like to say. I was going to leave that hanging. So, do you have a show tonight?
I do, yes.
Where will it be?
Crew tonight. I love Crew because Crew was, like in the days of in the music hall days, all the music hall performers used to, they would do a week season somewhere, season for a week, not a week season. That was a week season. And then they would finish on a Saturday night, and then on a Sunday, they would all get the train to the next city where they were going to perform. And so Crew, because of it's a big interchange. So back in the day, people go, if you could go back to any time in history, where would you? I would go to Crewe Station back in those days, because apparently on a Sunday, all day long, you would have people with unicycles, and you would have like dog acts and people carting around their magic tricks, and all the performers who had met each other in different cities while they were playing the various different music halls and variety theatres. They would all meet up there waiting for their trains, and you would have a, you know, like a sword swallower with his bag of swords talking to a guy with a dancing poodle and stuff, you know. So Crewe, every time I go to Crewe, it's sort of, even though it's not the biggest theatre, but there's part of me that goes, yeah, it's proper showbiz, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's not the size of the theatre, is it? It's the. I mean, I was at the Buxton Opera House a couple of weeks ago,
amazing.
and that is just a delight to play, because it's just a proper theatre.
I once did a recording of Just a Minute there, and because it's Buxton, they had, you know, the Buxton water, and they had these huge bottles of water. Instead of just giving us little glasses, they had these huge bottles of water, and I drank. I said, "Oh, look, it's free water!" And I drank way too much, and then forgot that there wasn't an interval between the two recordings. And I have never wanted to piss myself more in my entire life. And I was jiggling my leg, and I didn't want to interrupt and go. And Clement Freud leant over and went, "Stop moving." Stop moving.
Okay, now, something that I am so envious of. Tell me about you and Mel Brooks, what happened, how it went.
I did the producers. He had nothing to do with it. He'd long, you know, it had been in the West End, and then, you know, I did it on tour. But then, yeah, I did Young Frankenstein in the West End. So I played the Hunchback, Igor, and he came over for months and months and just was in the rehearsal room every day. And then we did the previews up in Newcastle, where he said to me at one point, he just went, "Ross, I love these people, but I have no idea what they're saying." Like, he was just totally confused by Geordies.
And what kind of a man was he?
Somebody said to me before I met him, they said nobody enjoys being who they are more than Mel enjoys being Mel Brooks. And that is the perfect description. You know, I got a call, "Do you want to come and audition for this, right? We want to book you in for like 3 days." And I was like, "What? Sorry, what, 3 days?" So you're like a day of like doing the scenes, then a day of singing, day of dancing. Went in, did that, and we put it on, you know, I did one of the scenes, put it on tape. So I did this kind of really kind of almost this sort of grotesque like characterization. I went really far with it. They sent it off to him, and then I get this thing, "Mel wants to talk to you. Would you be all right to have a phone call?" So I'm now thinking, well, look, if I get to have a 10-minute phone call with Mel Brooks, it's worth it for that, right?
Yeah,
I get a phone call. This voice, this weird kind of sort of Dick Van Dyke sort of Cockney, hello, me dear. How are you?" And I'm like, what? And it's Mel on the phone, and I like to chat. He likes to chat. You can imagine. I reckon for about an hour, we just didn't talk about the show. Didn't talk about the show at all. You know, he's just performing all the time. And then we finally get around to talking about the tape. And I said, I didn't want to just copy what Marty Feldman did. And he just went, Ross, oh my. He goes, "It's grotesque." You got to tone it down. We already got one fucking monster in the show. So I went back and I did it again, and then he hired me, like for a drink first off, and he does this thing where, like, so he goes, I'll get this, and the waitress comes over and hands him the bill. And he very discreetly opens it. And of course, everyone's looking across going, "Oh my God." And he very discreetly just opens the bill like that. And then he just fakes a heart attack and goes, "How much? Oh my God." And then, like, really generous bloke as well. And then we went out for dinner one night. And I thought, I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to, you know, because he's always paying for everything. So I gave the waitress my card and said, "Look, don't let anyone at that table pay for this," right? And I saw him sort of sneak off, and he was like talking to He's talking to the waitress. He turns around and in a packed restaurant, he goes, Ross, like that. I look up and he just goes, are you fucking kidding me? I got way more money than you. Yeah, and then he would do a thing where every day in rehearsal, didn't matter what was happening, he wouldn't even check to see where we were in rehearsals. He would kick the door open, and he's a little guy. He'd kick the door open, and he'd just run into the room like a big entrance, and he would just go, no, you're ruining my show.
Oh, Ross, that's glorious. Ross, we are out of time. I could have talked like this for another hour. Will you do another one with me at some point?
I'd be more than happy to.
Thank you. Enjoy your motorbike. Enjoy your show tonight. And what a great pleasure. Thank you, Ross. Really enjoyed it.
Take care.
Cheers.